What is up, guys? AZ Sports Guy here, and every now and again I get bored, I have a little bit of downtime, and I decide to look back on trades for potential trade tree videos, look back on trade videos, stuff like that. And today I think I have a very good one for you that I'm pretty sure I'm spoiling by having this jersey right here, but you clicked on the video, you saw the thumbnail. Let's look back at that original Derek Stepan trade and see how that trade directly led to a current Arizona State University player. The original trade took place on June 23rd, 2017, otherwise known as Sonic the Hedgehog's 26th anniversary. I'm a nerd, I cannot help myself. But the trade was as follows. Center Derek Stepan and goaltender Antti Raanta being traded to the Arizona Coyotes in exchange for defenseman Tony DeAngelo and a 2017 first-round pick. That pick was 7th overall, by the way. When trying to view it like a trade tree, you'll notice one thing. The middles are dead and the sides involve a prospect. DeAngelo had his contract terminated after 167 games, and that 2017 first-round pick was used on Lias Andersson, who was traded to LA anyway. As of right now, there you go, that's where that side of it ends. Antti Raanta left in free agency in 2021. It was meant to be, I suppose. 92 games played, 46, 42, and 11 record. Looked like he could be the franchise goaltender if he would have just stayed healthy, but at the very least, his injuries directly led to the rise like a phoenix that was Darcy Kemper's career, which led to Connor Timmins, which turned into an AHLer. This is not going well so far. I promise, it's a good ending. There's a positive ending here, but we have to get through this part first. Derek Stepan played 224 games for the Arizona Coyotes, not recording a single 20-goal season. He was brought in to be that number one center, despite the fact that he's always been a number two center. And despite the fact that at this point in his career, Derek Stepan pretty much had negative value, new Coyotes general manager Bill Armstrong managed to trade him out to the Ottawa Senators in exchange for a 2021 second-round draft pick. 37th overall, not bad value for a guy that pretty much at that point had negative value, and I am shocked, absolutely shocked they managed to get that deal done, and you got a second-round pick out of it. Anyway, who did the Coyotes take with that 37th overall pick in 2021? If you haven't guessed it by now, I am a little bit disappointed in you. But in the second round, 37th overall in the 2021 NHL entry draft, the Arizona Coyotes selected Josh Doan. That is right, a player that I was never really the biggest fan of, who wore number 21, which mind you was Shane Doan's old number from way back in the day. Yeah, fun fact, look it up. Shane Doan wore 21 for I think one season. Was traded for a draft pick that directly led to the Arizona Coyotes selecting Shane Doan's son, who is currently the captain for the Arizona State Sun Devils in their first season at their brand new arena, the Mullet Arena. So what have we learned today? That original trade was horrible. Look, at the very least you get some service time out of Stepan and you do turn him into Josh Doan, but Antti Raanta was an absolute disaster because he could not stay healthy. It had nothing to do with his skill level. He was posting consistently around I think a 908 save percentage. He was a good goalie. He just couldn't stay in the lineup. So you lose out on that. Raanta leaves for nothing. You did manage to get rid of DeAngelo. That ended up being New York's problem, so at least New York kind of lost on that as well. And they also ended up trading away that first-round asset anyway, so it's definitely not like the last trade tree I had, where it's all these different branching pathways going. No, it pretty much dies in every single corner. But whereas that original trade, the Coyotes still won, but by a technicality, you took that trade, that framework, with the absolute wizard that is Bill Armstrong, and turned an aging center who the kind of general consensus was he had no value, into the son of your franchise's greatest player. And Donor looks good so far in ASU. He's the captain, he's leading the team, he's playing very well. I do expect him to play all 4 years at ASU, but I do think when he comes into the NHL, he's going to be a pretty solid middle six player. I think some aspects of his game he's a little better than his dad, others not quite as much. He has pretty much the same overall frame as his dad, but he hasn't really grown into it yet. So in a couple of years, he could be a completely different player. So anyway, there you go. Looking back on the Derek Stepan trade is definitely, there's a win somewhere, and then a very blatant win, and I'm just going to go ahead and focus on the blatant win because Josh Doan is a Coyote because of this trade.